I see him. Sometimes I feel like a sardine.
I am lost.
Yeah, this is Jack. What do you know about it? I got arrested for shitting in the airport terminal, but you know what? I got the new pair. I got the new bond. It will never happen again. You strap it to the back of yourself, you got it. On top of that, I got another device. Whenever you're feeling like I can't drink, doesn't mean you can't have a little bit of bug remover in your drink. I mean, I know, right?
Don't worry, we've already called airport security.
Nah. Airport security's been on this shit since 2006.
And now they're all dead.
I wonder why.
Welcome back to the podcast, guys. I'm Christina. This is my brother Spencer. And we just made this podcast to show that communication is key in all aspects of life. If there's anything that we talk about that you would like to hear us talk about more, or if there's anything you don't hear us talk about that you would like our opinions on, you can always let us know on our social media, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can let us know in the comments below. We're also on Spotify, so if you're, on your morning jog, or, you're trying to hurry up through airport security because apparently you got to shit, just, put some headphones in, turn Spotify on, and you just got to listen to us.
Yeah, you got to listen to us, but we're on many more platforms now. We got iHeart Radio, we got Apple Podcasts, we were going to do Google Podcasts, but they're ending on the 21st. Huh? They're just not popular. There's other ones like Castbox FM was another option, but you had to do like a different type of method. But we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble as well too. So I was able to expand that, and we've created something to hit more areas, more communities, because some people are like, oh yeah, I still use Pinterest. Ew, I don't like Instagram. So yeah, whatever one you're on, we want to be able to display this podcast to all, because the point is communication. The more platforms we can have it on, the better it is for y'all to be able to access it and see it. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we're going to get into today's episode. Yeah. Rolling the dice just like Vegas.
But by the way, guys, it smells awful in here, so that's why we have that candle. I don't know if you can see it in the middle of the heart.
They probably can't see it.
They can see it, because I could see it when I set the camera up.
Damn, all right.
Put on those glasses and you can see them.
The 3D glasses, wear them indoors.
And then you'll be running into walls.
Why would you be running into walls? Are you like blind wearing those?
They mess with your eyes, though, if you're not looking at things in 3D.
Yeah, I mean, long term, yeah. But short term, it's not like you can't see in front of you. It's not like the beer goggles where you actually look like you're drunk, like going through them because you're like, where's the floor?
Have you worn beer goggles?
No, but I've seen multiple videos of people wearing beer goggles, and it's always the same. They're like, we're just running into stuff. Yeah, it's a very unstable lamp.
I know, so I don't know why you just rammed yourself into it.
Well, it was perfect. Now, if it would have fell, that would have been bonus points.
Bonus points on what? They could have knocked the candle over, set the coffee table on fire.
Damn, I guess the coffee table was
set the apartment on fire, then the apartment below.
We have both of those, so we're covered for rain, water, sleet, thunder, tornadoes, lightning strikes.
A candle falling was not included in that.
I didn't say, well, technically the candle being there and being lit is a form of fire, which is fire damage. And that was included with that. But I think what you're trying to allude to is we should have a lightning strike that hits the house.
There was, it was like thunder really loud the other night. And then at like 6:30 a.m., the power just completely shut off because my fan turned off, and I was like, what the heck? And I looked at the time because I'm like, how much time do I have left before I need to get up? And it was 6:40, so I had 20 minutes left, and I was like, waiting. So I'm like, the power will turn back on in a second. It took a few minutes for that power to come back on. I was like, maybe I should get up because I have the breaker switches in my room. I'm like, maybe it turn them or something, but I was like, I'm too tired. I'll deal without it. And then I heard my phone start to charge again, but my fan didn't turn back on, and I was like, what the heck? Do we only have partial power? And then a minute later the fan turned on, and I was like, Good night.
So you went back to sleep for the rest of the day?
Not for the rest of the day until my alarm went off.
No, that's actually what it is. She had an all-night bender rager, and that's what ended up happening. She actually went to bed at 6:30, so she had just crawled into bed.
That's why I was so mad the power went out.
Yeah, you were so upset that you actually punched the outlet. We have pictures. It's just some random person hitting an outlet. We find a video for that. I'm pretty sure there is somebody hitting an outlet, busting it, or eating it.
Nicole has been addicted to eating drywall for over 7 years. It started innocently with a bite of chalk.
I don't think they'd be alive.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, depends how much voltage you can take.
I don't think you're supposed to take voltage from there. That's probably too much. Coming from like an outlet and a wall.
Well, I mean, you produce a lot too. Have you ever had where the shopping cart kind of shocks you back?
Yes.
That was like terrible timing. You were like mid-yawn, but you had to answer.
I'm tired, dog. I have to get up and go to work today.
Oh, yeah. So did I, even earlier. But you have a lot of chaos going on there. You have a lot of demands that need to be met by the company with very limited staff.
Woo! We love that.
It is the way to go. I feel like all the industries are doing what I would call spring cleaning, because I've been seeing new people too that are working. And I'm like, where did they come from? But it's probably because job cuts were happening and people were like, I'm going to go do this for a living. And they ate rats. That's New York City. But if we wanted to talk about Texas, what they do is they just go to the oil field to never talk to you again.
Oh my God. They're just gone?
They're just gone. I've heard a lot of people joining the oil fields because there's a lot of demand out there. So what I would call, or you could call it the spring migration, where people just kind of move around because...
Or the Easter Bunny.
You think he moves everybody?
Yeah, he actually started a cult.
Oh.
Yeah. It's called the Bunnies 2.0.
Okay.
But
it sounds like an album.
But with a Z instead of an S.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us any more about it?
Unfortunately, I signed an NDA, so I can't.
Non-disclosure agreement. To who?
I can't say.
You traitor. You sided...
I actually don't trade anything. I like to keep my belongings. Most people don't really have anything worth trading anyways.
I don't think you could carry it because you're over encumbered.
No, literally. Especially if I'm not wearing my power suit or my power armor.
Why not? Why don't you just carry it with you? You can't hold it?
What do you mean I can't hold it?
You were the person who went to the bathroom in the middle of the airport. Jack?
Black?
Crack.
This is actually a poetry slam now.
Poetry slam night. We do that for the rest of the podcast. I think most people would tune out after the second one because that's when we're supposed to have the fire take down this house. So they won't be able to see anymore because it's whenever you're spitting hot poetry, like the flames start coming up. Bibble Nation knows about it.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be in a comedy club if I made a joke.
I think that would more be like laughter, like, ha ha ha, that was so funny, not this.
No, that's what I mean. In a comedy club, that's what people would do whenever they're like,
when
ooh.
somebody's telling comedy?
Well, maybe not comedy. I'm thinking maybe of a jazz-like scene, like they spit a bar from jazz and they're like, doo-da-da, doo-da-da, dee-doo-doo-doo. And then people are like, oh yeah, that's good, that's good.
Do you know this from experience? You've
No.
been to a jazz show?
No, this is again another video that I'd seen. I also think they depict that in movies too.
I'm pretty sure they just clap.
There's that too.
I've only seen this for like poetry.
Yeah, but they are spitting poetry because I think blues like kind of forms from that too. I mean, you can say that all music kind of stems from a sense of that because that's what you're creating. You're creating all the...
It's literally songwriting though, it's poetry.
Yeah. If we're talking about the stem root, that's what I'm saying. It all kind of comes back to that. Poetry and then just language itself and then the black hole.
The black coal.
Do you know how that works? Like, what is your conception of it?
Like black coal?
Yeah, what do you think it does?
You put it in a grill and it helps light the fire so you can cook some steaks.
Is this a product? She's like, yeah, you can get it at the local Walmart for $9.
You probably, well, I don't know about $9 with inflation these days, but...
Is this a real product?
Coal!
Oh, I said the black hole.
Yeah, coal is black.
Okay, so what you're saying is you can create the black hole if you barbecue on the weekends.
You need to be barbecuing Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Only those days between the hours of 2 p.m. and 6 p.m.
Why is this a requirement?
It was recommended by the FDA.
That would be something that the FDA recommends. Put coal in your bathtub, people. Now, I will say...
come out covered in soot. Just
good. That is Quiznos right there.
Is it?
Yeah, that is their catchphrase. We have to come up with our own as well, too. What do you think it should be? Buzz, buzz, buzz. Let's talk. No.
That was horrible.
Yeah. Leave it in the comment sections below. Do you think it was high level cringe? Say yes.
You want them to say yes?
That felt like it would fit into that category of somebody being like, man, I thought this man was stupid, but this man's really stupid. He doesn't know what 2 + 5 is. It's W.
Speaking of W's, Weester is coming up.
That was a term that you coined yesterday. Can you define what Weester is?
Weester, like from SpongeBob. Patrick says it.
Uh-huh. What is the definition, though? That's not a definition. That's saying the source, which we love that, too. Thank you for citing the sources.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I did an MLA format for you.
Oh, my God. Thank goodness. Learn your MLA documentation.
We're actually going to have in the description, it's just going to be the MLA, how you do the citing for that.
Okay, I need to include that. It's gonna be what if it's just some random video? It's like the Annoying Orange season 1 episode 1.
Weester though is isn't it like west or something?
Yeah.
He accidentally is trying to say east and west together.
So he says Weast. But did it pertain to Easter?
No.
Oh, so what you did was you copyrighted it by taking something from SpongeBob and then throwing your mix in without Dan Schneider's approval. Please go to his office.
Ew. Have you seen the documentary about him that came out?
I have no idea who he is.
Dan Schneider?
I'm just kidding. Is he the one that has the child? Yeah, okay. That has been coming out a lot with Nickelodeon. That's why they have a lot of fire.
He was the main writer on all the shows for Nickelodeon.
Oh, that is right. Even that's declassified.
So they have a podcast with like their old castmates, and apparently they were defending him.
Oh.
Yeah, and people were like, "Ooh, that's not a good look for y'all."
Well, that's again, it's just allegations, right?
I mean, I guess technically, but like, I don't know if you've ever seen, there's like behind the scenes videos that Dan used to film, like when they were filming their TV shows and whatnot. And like looking back on those videos, it's just, you can tell like everybody gets so awkward and weird around him. Like they don't want to be messing around, joking around. And then he comes around and everybody's just kind of like, huh.
Yeah, but wouldn't that happen with the main boss anyway? I'm not saying that any of this hasn't happened. What I'm stating is just like, let's look at this logically, because I don't know a lot about this information besides that Nickelodeon's under fire with a lot of their children's shows. Not like the new ones, but like, I'm sure it has to do with the allegations specifically.
Well, I think it's on Netflix, Quiet on Set, just recently came out and, sir?
What? That's me. I'm scratching the chair.
Okay.
But I'm also belching, so.
Okay. But.
I'm sorry. I can feel the heartburn coming up.
You need to take a Tum or something.
Mm-mm. Don't take Tums, kids.
But on Quiet on Set, it was a bunch of like Nickelodeon stars that were kids when they were on Nickelodeon that have like basically told their story on what happened. The biggest one was Drake Bell. He talked about like, I don't think I can say that word here on any platform. We might get like bleeped or something, but he's basically assaulted by Dan, and a lot of these kids' parents knew about this and didn't do anything to stop it.
And this was like confirmed?
I mean, by the person themselves, yeah.
So you're saying Drake Bell?
Yeah, he was on there. He talked about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen this, so I don't know.
I mean, I haven't seen it. I've seen clips from it, and I've been seeing people talk about it, but that's, I feel like, a lot of child stars, and I don't know. I just feel like as a parent, because, you know, some people's parents, like, they just want the money. So they'll push their kid into it because they know they're going to make a lot of money off of it, and they'll continually make them do it. And obviously as a kid, like, you have to listen to your parent, and in your mind, oh, well, my parent knows what's right, they know what's good, like, I'm going to listen to them. And it's not till, you know, these celebrities get older. I think they say at the age of 25, that's when your frontal lobe is fully developed, and that's when they start to kind of realize what happened to them. 'Cause obviously, you know, you kind of suppress things as a kid, but it's not until they reach that age that they're like, whoa, this stuff happened, and I just blocked it out.
Yeah, definitely something that I've heard among a lot of childhood stars is having all of that. But that's also like the danger of going into that industry, because I think like actors in general, like you always play a character, so you think they're playing a character with you, and they can get you to do those things because, again, an adult has more power over you, and the person in control eventually can become corrupt depending on what their intentions are. And again, it's allegations. I'm not 100% sure with all of that. I haven't done any investigation on it, but I guess it would be easier to come to the conclusion that that could happen. But a lot of people get sexual allegations just thrown randomly too at them, just to target them and try to get people to go against them, all because of information they may have revealed or something that they may have said. So I would just have to have more information. It's not, again, I'm not saying it's not true. It's just, is there a point? Like, is Drake trying to get something from this, or is he actually been somebody who is affected? It
wasn't just him, though. It was a bunch of Nickelodeon stars that were on there talking about it. There's a girl that played on Zoe 101 that talked about how horrible he was. And there were some other stars from other Nickelodeon shows as well that were talking.
Oh yeah, actually I saw the Zoe 101 star. There was the video of her with the like picket. Yeah.
That was before Quiet on Set came out, but yeah, she's been very vocal about like the things that happen on Nickelodeon.
But why now is the question? Why would it be
because they signed NDAs. They cannot speak about it. Also, fear
about what though?
About the things that have happened to them.
But I guess you would have to look at the guidelines of what the NDA is. Like, if somebody is, I don't know, molested,
they would probably have signed an NDA for that.
Yeah.
And you would have to wait for the NDA to expire. Or it could also be that, like, they felt like nobody was going to believe them. Or, you know, they hadn't fully processed or even, you know, because they suppressed it so much that they didn't even really remember what happened until later on. And it's not till other people spoke out about it that they're like, well, if that person's speaking out, like, I need to as well. There's strength in numbers, and being the only person to say something, I mean, especially in the Hollywood industry, people are going to call you a liar.
Well, 100%, because you're surrounded by them. Because you are on TV and movie. And then when you talk to people, they don't think you're real because they see you as a character. That's how I think some people, like, when you have idols, like Harry Styles, Justin Bieber, like, you idolize them to the point where, like, all your focusness is on them, and you start to lose that focusness of the sense of they are a person too. Like, they are going through their own things, and it is hard, I think, as a child to get there, because it's like, what are you working toward after that? Is probably some of the thoughts that they think. They're like, I have the money, I have the power, and I have the fame. Like, what else would I need, basically? So that's where I see a lot of them become suicidal and depressed, but also giving into those tendencies as well, especially in those years. Like, I actually don't know the amount of like people who haven't gone through like some drug thing or some relationship thing that was messed up that is in Hollywood. Because that's all you hear about too, like on the magazines, that's all they have in the stores is, oh, this person did with this, or oh, this person is breaking up. It's always something related to that. There's always drama, and I think that's the downside of having fame, is that that can always be around you, and you might not want that stress. You're like, I just want to be like chilling at my house and like go to the grocery store and people don't like come up to me, because eventually that's the problem they deal with. Whereas you have the other people who are like, hey, like, I have something to speak about, basically, and they're not necessarily heard depending on what they're speaking about. And there's always that building block of like understanding between, I guess, what both of those would feel like having fame and not having fame, and trying to put yourself in those shoes and see if it's something that you actually want. Like, what is the thing that you're aiming toward with your goal? And can that be very detrimental to you? Because as a child, it's like, it's a great opportunity. You don't really think about it. Again, as you said, parents are like, oh yeah, I just want the money. But some of them are like, I want them to have this opportunity, but they don't know what's going behind closed doors all the time, because they kind of keep them away from what's going on typically, because they don't want them to share the information, hence the NDA. But I think there are things like that where, how could you not disclose that then? But as a child, I would also understand, why would you even read the contract?
Exactly, you don't, and as a parent, you probably think, oh, it's just like normal, like all Hollywood people do this, like we'll just sign it, whatever. There's also the fear, like even if they didn't sign an NDA, there's the fear that you'll get blacklisted. You won't get any more jobs, nobody's going to want to work with you, and then you're making no money. Your career goes down the toilet if you speak up about something, especially somebody powerful like Dan Schneider, who literally wrote pretty much like almost all the Nickelodeon TV shows back then. You speak up about somebody like that in power, you're never going to get a job again.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely the risk that you're taking. So they're less likely to do it because of that. That's completely understandable. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. It's just always, it's like, okay, if that's the case, right? Like, why would it be coming out now? Why do everybody want to actually stand up now? Like, what was happening previously where they couldn't have done that would be my questions. And it's like, again, is there intentions behind them doing this to get something? Because this has happened in history. Anybody can start a revolution of some sort and claim something and then it be completely false. Like in court all the time. Like one thing that started happening a lot is false accusations of rape in college. Because they would accuse men of raping the woman, but actually they just didn't have a good time. I'm like, what the fuck? But then you actually have the actual thing happen too, which sucks, because both of those things are happening and nobody's doing anything about it within the colleges. Because the colleges are like, oh, it's not a problem. Because if it doesn't have publicity or media doesn't actually attract that film, then nothing happens with it. And that's a bit of the issue, is that you have both of those things occurring, but you don't know what's actually true. So it's like, well, what would you do in that case? Well, I would try to understand a little bit about the security of the area that they have. Try to change up the security. And like with the parties that they allow, like frats and all of that, of course it's likely to happen because they allow them to like go through initiations.
I mean, I don't think college can, like, really has a say in that. They can't stop them from doing that.
It's their property.
They are adults, though.
It's their property. They have the right to do that.
But they could also, even if they stopped, like, being like, okay, well, this is our property, you can't do that here, they'll just do it somewhere else. They can't stop them from doing that.
Right. They would do it somewhere else. The problem is that they allow it to happen there. They allow the frats and the sororities to do that, and they think it's okay when it's not. Like, yes, you want them to express themselves, but like some of the things that are in sororities and fraternities, what they do is like, it's super sexual, like right off the bat, like men absolutely like butt naked, and then you have to do all these crazy challenges. And it's like, you allow this on the college. You allow people to just be naked in the college in front of all these other people. That's okay, but you're going to arrest somebody in the street that's doing that. That does not make sense. You can't make it a safe zone for them in college like that. That wouldn't make sense, because then you're allowing the behavior to continue instead of actually stopping it. But that's not high priority. That's not something that is focused on with that, because as you said, they have all these other things to take care of. The problem is like, okay, you're just going to keep allowing this stuff to happen then at your own place. Well, what's the solution? Don't go there. And I'm talking about major public universities, because that's typically where you see a lot of these stories at, because you have so many people in those universities. But again, money game. They just want the money at the end of the day. They don't care what the consequences are. That's how colleges function, with all their grants getting from the government, and then all these people that support these colleges because they went there before, and they want the ritual to continue of doing those things. Because it's so unnecessary to do that. You don't need to have sororities and fraternities. You can have groups and communities, but not something that's like literally tearing them to pieces. Like, what's the number one thing you think of when you think of sororities and fraternities? What's the number one thing that they do?
Illegal activities.
Illegal activities. They're getting drunk underage and they're doing drugs, but they have a safe space to do it on college campus, or probably not. They can just drive off a college campus if they wanted to. And I guess you could if you were at your house anyway. The problem is that they allow this activity to occur. They don't prohibit it, even though they can put signs up all day stating that. It's not like they're actually doing that, because they allow that house, which is on the campus typically, to occur.
Now I wonder if the college actually does own those houses, or if somebody
They do.
Somebody like long ago just started it as a tradition.
Well, of course, it did start as a tradition, but the college it's their property. It's not like a separate property. But you bring up a good point, because there might be some colleges that somebody may own that is outside of the college.
Exactly. So then the college would have no say over what goes on.
The problem
in that
is
place.
if it's on the campus. So let's say that the building's right here, but the campus is also around that building. That would mean that it's a safe spot to do that, because it's not associated with them, which could be the case for some colleges. I know it's not for all of them. That's the same thing with government officials and lobbyists, which was the word that I was trying to figure out on last podcast. Lobbyists are the ones who do the dirty work, and the government is the one that actually does the dirty work, but they hide behind that cover. It's a multi-layered system, because they're going to have somebody who's the front runner of like the attention grabber, the person who has fame, and then you have the people who are stacking money and power in the background. Because that's exactly what Nickelodeon is, right? Hollywood. You are working for somebody because they're giving you this opportunity. But then they can take it to the point where they start threatening you. And since you're so young, you can fall into that trap of just like, okay, I got to do what they do. Or you don't want to lose the fame. So you're like, I'm willing to risk this. But again, it's hard to decipher that as a kid. That's why it's difficult to have those situations. And it's like, if he was doing that, why were people need to catch him like doing that? Like, I'm talking about outsiders, people that worked around him. That means he had to have a group of people as well. So it wasn't just him.
There were people that knew he was doing it. They just didn't do anything to stop it.
And that's the problem, because a little issue can grow into such a larger one because it wasn't taken care of when it first happened. This is where the communication thing comes in again. You have to do that within a certain amount of time, because somebody's going to start, and not just somebody, all of us do this. We start creating some fantasy and scenario in our head of what that person thinks after a large fight, because you want to reconnect with them, but at the same time, you also might still want to attack them, because you're like, I can't believe you had said that, or I can't believe you had done that. But you need to have some aspect of closure or conclusion to making those statements to that person, because that is communicating about it, and eventually there is a resolution instead of carrying it on and then allowing it to bottle up, and then things like this happen. Or like Sandusky, which was a huge college thing in football, where he had done the same thing to men in the locker room, and it being proven that way. It's like, why let it continue when you can stop it right there? It's just, it's the plan to action. Chaos people don't want to step into. They're like, oh, it's fine, it's not a problem. But then in relationships, it starts becoming an issue. Like, example, intimate relationship. It may be small, but toilet paper. Some of them don't want to put it back on the roll, and some of them want to just keep it on the counter. Well, somebody might not like that in a relationship. And then the other person is like, well, I like it that way. And then you have an argument. But if you're just like, oh, it doesn't matter, you carry on throughout the years and you're just building up all of this anger and resentment, because it's like, you can have that thing change. You can come to a conclusion, but you're not even willing to talk about it. And it's so small. So it's like, what else are you actually hiding? Because that's just a surface level thing. And you may put it in the I don't care category, but it's like, it matters. Because each thing matters. How you have things set up matter. Because it's a part of your environment, or their environment, since they are the intimate too. So I think that's where the lack is. It's just people don't want to walk into the chaos. But if you don't, more chaos will ensue.
Have you ever heard of the orange peel theory?
No, actually.
So the orange peel theory is like let's say it was me and my boyfriend, right? And I was like, hey, I don't want to peel this orange. Can you peel this orange for me? And if he says, oh yeah, no problem. It's basically like, this small little task is something I absolutely hate doing. I hate peeling an orange. I don't want to do it. But he's willing to do it for me, even though he might not like it either, but he knows that it'll make me happy. That's the orange peel theory. People have been like talking about that, and they've been testing it out. They'd be like, hey, can you peel this orange for me? And some people are like, oh yeah, I got you. And some people are like, no. Why do you want me to peel an orange for you? You can peel it yourself.
There's another theory that this goes off of. This theory is the bystander effect. It's like, if you see the person's hurt, are you going to go help them? And what ends up happening is most times people won't. A perfect example is there was a girl that was getting stabbed on a bus, and there were over 40 witnesses. Not a single one of them called 911 because they thought somebody else did. So the person bled out and died. No. It's like, well, what happened? But that's the thing. Nobody wants to step to action when it's necessary. At those times, those specific times. It's not that everybody doesn't do that. There are people who are leaders, and there are people who are good people who just want to step in and be like, hey, I just want to make sure everything's okay. Because you could be the person that can literally change the aspect of bad events happening, and you may not even know it. It could be simple as like, hey, like, don't talk to this person like that. And you're very like forceful in a manner. And they were about to blow up the entire bus. They had C4 going, but they're like, oh, this person seems more of a threat. So I don't want to do this. I think we need to abort this. It could be as simple as that, or as simple as like, hey, stop. Whenever somebody's stealing coming out of a store, it's like, what are you doing, man? And even if they do steal, they know that somebody scared them and they won't be back in that spot. Rather than being like, oh, they stole from Target again, or oh, they stole from Walmart again. You just actually speak up and say something at that time when you see it occur. Like, I had this happen, and this is where I should have done something, because I was like, can I do anything? But I wasn't sure at the time. Somebody was coming up to get, coming up behind the register, and they were checking me out at the time. And this person walks up, and for some reason, out of all the stores, and this store definitely should have had it locked up considering the area that it's in, they didn't lock up the cigarettes. And in most places they do. But for some reason they didn't have locks on these. Person opens it, grabs it, and they notice that he's stealing. But as you know, since you've worked in retail, you can't chase after him because that's the rules that they have, right? But then I thought about me. I was like, wait a minute. I could though, because I am an outsider to them. I don't work here. So I could go out there and I could actually say something or do something about it. And what I was actually going to do, because he started running out there, I could have chopped and tackled him and took the cigarettes back, be like, go home.
But then you also risk getting hurt if that person had a weapon, or if they were violent.
Right.
Or if you even...
I'm not saying you go tackle them. I'm saying that's what I would have done differently personally, because I would have wanted to take action so it didn't happen again. Because what it happened with New York back in the 1990s, they had crime levels that were so high to the point where everybody was riding the bus for free, because they would see one person get on the bus and not pay, and then they're like, okay, I can do it next time. But what they did was, I believe in 1994, they had a new head of police chief. The first thing that he did was remove the graffiti that was on the trains. He would be like, get rid of all of it. And if you see somebody doing it, start painting it back over. And they'll eventually stop. And they did. And then the crime rate dropped because it started from there. And this is from the book, The Tipping Point, where I'm getting this from, where it starts to change the environment, because people are like, yeah, we don't want crime here. And everybody's getting all hype about it because things are actually getting done. Actions are actually being taken to where you don't have to go on the bus and feel so unsafe because all these people are riding like this and people are shitting on the bus. And they still do today, but that's because the crime rate's back up in New York City. The pandemic definitely affected them. There's no doubt about that. But it's terrible to the point where, like, I mean, some of the examples, like, people will literally pick their ass and then lick it. This is happening in the streets of New York and California. It was me on a Wednesday night after eating too much Fugazi. So these things, they occur, but you can take care of them beforehand. You can actually take action when it's necessary. But again, people don't want to step into that. We're not trained and accustomed to go do that. Because we have had a peaceful time beforehand. Definitely within the 2000s period, we were all adapted to that. And now it's like all of this chaos is ensuing, and it's not saying that people aren't speaking up and justice is not being served. That is definitely happening. It's just like, it requires everybody to have that within inside of them to do that, to be willing to step up and actually say something about it, because you know it's wrong, but then you're allowing it to happen. That's even worse.
I think it's more of like, by speaking up, like, that person can now go after you. Like, they can remember you and be like, ooh, you told on me, now I'm gonna come find you and your family. And people don't want that, so they just mind their own business.
Yeah, and that's a fair one. That's probably like the first thing that they would think of is, oh, what if they become a threat to me? Not if you're a threat to the other person. That's the thing.
What are you gonna start doing? Freaking chanting like a koala bear?
You can, because especially like a crackhead, you would scare one off. If you're more of a crackhead, then they're going to be scared of you. But that's just in general, like, even if you can't do something about it, again, strength in numbers is what you stated. You can say like, hey, like, anybody with me on this, they shouldn't be doing that. And most likely you'll at least have one person that will stand up. Then they'll get multiple people to stand up and be like, yeah, we don't want that. But all it takes is that one person to say something. We think back to all the times where people didn't speak up and they allowed like government or some strange power or group come up that they knew was destructive, but yet still allowed it to occur. That's where we have to gauge and actually do the right thing and actually speak up.
And then they banded together and threw the tea overboard.
Yeah, and that was to show the revolt of the revolution that they wanted, because they didn't want all these higher taxes after the war that they didn't necessarily fight. That was in Europe that it was happening, but they were wanting our support with all of that, and then they were going to add taxes on all the different fees because all the other unfoldments. That's a very skimmed version of what actually happened for the Boston Tea Harbor. I mean, there's a lot of things that...
Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, but yeah, that's true. It was in the harbor, though.
Boston Tea Party.
The Boston Harbor.
Tea Party.
Yes, it's called that as an event. Boston Harbor is where it occurred.
I'm gonna call it the Boston Party.
Okay, you can call it what you want.
Hey, that's a Taylor Swift song.
Is it?
Call it what you want, yeah. Reputation.
And you're over here saying you weren't a Tay fan. Whatever.
I mean, I'm not like a hardcore Swiftie. I don't know everything about her. And I don't love like every song that she's ever released, but I like most of them.
But is that requirements for a Swiftie?
I'm pretty sure. You have to love all of her songs. You have to know everything about her.
You have
to know where she's at right now.
What about her cult-like activities?
What?
Do you have to follow her cult-like activities?
What does that entail?
I don't know. Have you ever seen this before where somebody does this?
I've seen this before.
Okay, I think that's another version of it. It's like code words to like giving power to whatever the fuck it is. Nobody's discovered it because this is like the inner depths of like their workings. But symbolism is always, they even teach this in school. Symbolism is large within anything. Like you have to pay attention to the patterns because that's a lot of like communication. That's a very high form of communication is when you can read symbols and understand what they mean. Example, hieroglyphs. You had to be able to read those to be interpreting like what they meant during that time because the language hadn't necessarily been developed past writing tense.
How do we know that we've successfully decoded them correctly, though?
Exactly. Well, that's always the thing, too, because if that was the case, we would have answers that are more hidden than what we do today. But it's not like people aren't working on that. You have your people who work in those fields.
What if the hieroglyphics were actually just pictures? And that's it?
What do you mean? They just drew what happened during the day?
No, they just drew. And it has nothing to do with the day or anything else. And it has no significance. They're just somebody was drawing on the wall.
I see what you're saying. There is no validity to this statement. And the reason why I say that is because even if it didn't mean anything, it still would have meaning, or why would the person go do it? Like, why would somebody go read a book or go to a job? And yes, you can have all of the different things for it, but you're still doing it, which creates meaning out of it.
But I just mean it doesn't have, like, as deep of a meaning as people have been, like, making it out to be.
Well, yeah, that's just like somebody who overthinks. Somebody can be like, oh, there's all these different routes, but it's good that you have perspective because the more that you're putting the clues together, at least you still are looking back at the puzzle pieces you have.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you would construct a puzzle, though, is like, if you don't know where these ones fit, well, you should keep them open as options because you have to put them.
You throw them off the table.
For what reason?
So you don't have to see them anymore.
Deborah's not going to be happy.
She didn't want to help me solve the puzzle. That's not my problem.
You didn't feed her Lunchables yesterday.
We ran out.
Again?
She eats like 5 a day.
Yeah, so what? She works out too.
Where? At the Weenie Hut Junior?
You're giving away our location again.
Why are you saying again to me when you're the location person?
I'm not saying that I haven't again. There's been 2 or 3 occasions, but you have definitely done about the same thing. And with that statement...
I actually pinged our location so everybody can see it.
The best way to ping locations for everybody to hear, when you're on Google, it's weird. It's like 5ZWQ-whatever. It's like the specific coordinates if you use Google Maps to the exact spot that you're in. Because you can look that up when you're on maps, like what is your current location. It will tell you coordinates, but it will also have like this special one that you can copy to the clipboard that specifically pinpoints your spot. And it uses different letters. Somebody did this today where I was delivering and I was like, yeah, it was the exact spot where they were at. And it was a hard area because it's one of the college dorm areas. And I was like, whoa, like that's interesting that you can use that thing. And that's the first time I've seen somebody put that on there because that will get you exactly where that person's at. So just for the audience to know there, that's one way you can do it. Can you do that on Apple Maps?
I know you can do it on iPhone where you can like share your location and it'll give them the exact location of where you're at.
But you can't do that via like an app though. Like if you're trying to, again, like Instacart for instance, it's just an address that's displayed. You can't like be like, well, actually no, somebody's done that too. You can just put it in the messages.
Yeah.
They can like text you a message
And
or put it in the description.
You can like put how long you want to share your location. You can do always to where they always see where you're at. You can do for only an hour, or you can do like just that one time.
I don't think I've ever gotten that though, where they've done that.
That's because you have a Samsung.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know if you can do that between Apple and Samsung. I know that Apple people can do that to each other.
Yeah, but can't you just send that as a message?
Your
like
location?
it's a link, right?
It pops up the map though.
Correct. But you could see it through the website.
Through Apple Maps.
No. You could see it through Google or Safari. You can see where they're at on there because you're still on a website.
It takes you to Apple Maps though.
The website
Takes you to Apple Maps.
Okay, what I'm trying to explain to you is you're talking about how Samsung doesn't have the ability to do this. They do. It takes you to a website. Like for instance, if you were to share to me your location, I would press the link and it would take me to the website. On Google or whatever I have as my browser, it will take me to that and it will show it on the website. It won't be on an app because I don't have Apple Maps. So it has to give an alternate way. Same with Google Maps. It does the same thing. If you don't have Google Maps, it will take you to Google, Safari, whatever browser you're using, and display where you are on a map on the website. Because Google Maps is a website. You can literally look that up.
Is Apple Maps a website?
Yes,
though?
because it has to be. It has to have a source of where it's coming from. Like it's not, they are applications too, but if you don't have the app, it could still pull it up. It's not like how you have certain files that you can't pull up because, not necessarily compatibility, but what you're trying to change that file to may not have a program built onto your computer where it's like, oh, I know what that file is. It may just be like for me, it will pop up, choose apps in the App Store that work for it, and then it will kind of display the apps that you could download for it. But specifically with this, no, you can look it up directly on there. Like it will take you directly to the website if you don't have the app. Because they're known. I mean, Apple Maps and Google Maps are probably the most used ones. Waze is up there, and there's more coming. Like, have you seen the cars that go around and drive and are like have all the photos being taken?
I haven't seen one in a while, but I have seen them before in my life, yeah.
Yeah. There is one on Google Maps of me at the old apartments where me and our brother were working on the car. So
Like you're actually in the photo?
we're in the photo, yeah.
You'll have to show it to me.
Really? Oh, I felt like I've shown it to you before.
I know you're a liar.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You've never seen this. Okay, I've probably shown Marty. Yeah. But we're on there. That's if it's
Like,
still...
were you, like...
No, so you know how when you're in Street View, you can click the arrow and it gives you a different look of it? We're in multiple looks. So one of them, it looked like we're like on the ground, like looking for the car. And then the other one, we're like looking up, like toward the area, but not necessarily the camera itself.
So your face is on Google Maps.
Yeah.
So somebody can identify you and come and find you.
Ma'am, they can identify me right here.
So they can find this podcast if they look at Google Maps and find out who you are.
They don't even need that. Literally in the links, like they literally have your full name in the link.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do, because when your name's on, I believe, TikTok is your full name.
I thought you were talking about the Google Maps picture. I'm like, how did they get your name?
No.
Did the guy step out of the car and he's like, hey, I need your name real quick, dog, so I can put it on the Google Maps.
Yeah, you're going to be famous. And he's like a newspaper boy with one of those like top hats. Wait, it's not a top hat. What do you call those ones that are flat? They're kind of like British ones. Oh
What?
gosh, you don't know. Okay,
A
they're
beret?
kind of, but not that. It's something else. There's a different name for it. It's like what the detectives wear.
A detective cap?
It's not that though. There's another name. We can look this up. So it's the name of detective cap. Sherlock. There we go. That's it. Sherlock, close the books. That's all.
You solved the mystery.
Wait, what? A deer stalker? That's actually what it's called. A deer stalker.
Is
So
that the hat that you're talking about?
I am not. He's wearing like a double-ended, like he's like the person that if you fuse two of like those like hats that are like this together, that's what you created.
Okay, well,
How would you rate that? 1 out of 10? How does it look?
the hat,
Yeah.
0.
Ma'am, I said 1 to 10.
-2.
Okay, so what you're saying is you would wear this only to poetic events
I would actually only wear that to a funeral.
because it's -2 out of 10.
Yeah, I actually want to wear that at my funeral.
You write that in your will.
I need to be wearing the Sherlock cap.
That's-
If I'm not, bring me back to life.
or
Back to life.
what if okay?
Save me.
It's Evanescence. I was confusing two different songs there from what you were saying.
Evanescence. I don't know what you just said.
Eminescence. It's Eminem and the essence of Eminem together to make Sherlock Holmes and a deer stalker. Okay.
Is it deer stalker or deer stalk?
Ma'am, you can read the words right here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Detectives. No,
FBI.
deer stalker hat. It says it right there. It's kind of small print.
Yeah, I'm blind as a bat.
Really? That bad?
Deer
Wear
stalker.
contacts next
Okay.
week.
I don't even wear glasses. How am I supposed to wear contacts?
Yeah, you do. Don't you have nighttime glasses when you drive?
Yeah, I lost them.
Where?
I don't know.
In a puddle during a funeral? That you were wearing a deer stalker hat?
No.
I was thinking with the deer stalker, what if somebody misinterpreted that and was like, okay, they're looking for a person who stalks deer. Do you guys have any leads?
Or they're stalking deer themselves.
No! So you want somebody else in the coffin to wear as a hat. Yeah, you're on some psycho type stuff right there.
I want the deer to wear the hat.
Like its own hat?
No, the deer stalker hat. I want the deer to wear it. Because they named it after
What
him.
if it's made out of deer? That is so rude.
I would assume they named it that because it has something to do with deer.
Right? So what if it's the deer skin and you're telling the deer to wear the deer skin? That's like telling a pig to eat pork. They'll do it.
No.
They would. The pigs eat their own shit.
That doesn't mean that they're... What would they be considered?
They would eat themselves if it came to it. They're piggy.
Okay. He's he's mad. He bought this hat, but it doesn't. It shows on the picture that it has a pig nose, except it wasn't included with the hat. And now he's sad because he wanted to live out his pig dreams.
Okay, it doesn't make sense. I will take shots at this company. Spirit Halloween? I'm just kidding. It's not even that.
Party City.
I know it's Party City. What I don't understand is, like, they display it where you're wearing, like, these pig ears. It's some weird thing that you put around your face. And I was wearing it yesterday while I was doing the dishes. They don't
Literally.
Literally. And the picture that it displays on there is there's a pig nose on it that it's a string that looks like you would attach to it, but it wasn't sold with it. What's the point of having it on the picture then if you ain't going to sell it? Because that's what is the pig mask. That is what it is. You need the nose. You can't just have the ears. You look like the Easter Bunny.
Because it's sold separately, so you can pay extra money for it.
Yeah, they could have put it together and just charged me more. Come on, man. It just would make sense with the picture. Like, I understand there's certain Halloween costumes where it doesn't come with everything. That's fine, as long as it comes with the main attire. This is called a pig mask. Why does it not come with a nose? That's a part of the mask. You ain't just wearing ears. Again, you would be like the Easter Bunny. You would not be a piggy. You would not collect 200 and you would not pass go. Go to jail.
I like how Monopoly gets brought up in like every one of these somehow.
Yeah, because whenever you're running by Times Square and some of the railroads, you end up losing your chips. And then you got to sell those chips, Lay's or Pringles, to a local chef who ends up cutting it up and calling it a creme brulee.
Ew.
That would be disgusting.
Who is putting chips in creme brulee?
apparently the Italians. Now I have them all coming after me. They're like, everybody in Italy watched this video and we were very upset. We will bomb you. And I'll be like, in Mario Kart?
Oh no, he threw the red shell.
My life is over, ogre. Why was that so accurate? So what happens when Luigi gets spun out?
Or when they get hit. Because they just, apparently they don't know how to put the pedal to the metal and they're just like, oh no, I gotta cry about this real quick.
Everybody's reaction is that to the I was going to say the orange flag, the red turtle shell. I don't know where that came from.
It's the new Mario Kart feature. It's Mario Kart Plus edition, where a red flag comes and just starts waving in your face.
Oh, well, they kind of already do that. And actually, they do. They have the guy who is like the leader dude that sits in the cloud. I think his name was El Lakuta or something. He sits up in the cloud, and anytime that you're going backwards, he comes up in front of you and puts a sign that says reverse, and he's like, he's so pissed with you. He's like, get back on track, buddy.
You're going the wrong way. That's why he pops up on
What
the
if you're
screen.
trying to hit Bowser to take him out of the lead so your friend can win the championship on 200cc? How about that?
Not allowed.
Not allowed. Do you realize we're at a CC's Pizza? They would have that game there, potentially.
No. Isn't Cece's Pizza just the pizza place?
Doesn't mean somebody with a kid with a Nintendo DS doesn't pull up and be like, hey, man, you trying to race? And then you had your Nintendo DS pack, but then you also realized that you left the oven on at the house. So you hustle back to the house, but then the house is up in flames. And welcome to our apartment.
The house is just a pizza now.
Oh, we live in a pizza is what you're claiming?
Well, he left the oven on, so the pizza is cooking.
Yeah, again, our house. And is it Papa John's, Domino's Pizza? What did we turn into? DiGiorno?
Luigi.
Tony and Luigi's?
Yeah.
Wow. They're authentic Italian. And you just gave another location away. Although that was partially my fault.
Exactly. Nobody would have even known or said anything.
Yeah. Now they know what our property address is.
We actually live at Tony and Luigi's.
We live right on top of the table. Like, it could be midday and I'm like, oh, I'm getting up for work. Somebody's like, what the hell is this person doing on the table? I was like, sleeping. Wow. What are the birds doing this morning?
Are you calling that person a bird?
And then they would be so offended. They're like, I need the manager. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. What's up?
You just do a 360. Hi. I'm the manager.
Hi, I'm the manager.
Are you a robot?
No.
No. No.
Does everything robotic. Malfunction sequencing. 5. And then they're like, oh my God, should we run? No, I think he's bluffing. And then I actually explode. Would it happen only at Tony and Luigi's?
We're actually their sponsor now.
Yeah, we're sponsoring Tony and Luigi's. Go get them. Absolutely gorgeous meals, gorgeous people, and gorgeous food. Drinks, I just wouldn't drink, period. Yes, I took dare back in 6th grade, 5th grade. Did you ever do dare?
Yeah, guess who got first place? Me.
How? Is it the long-term game that you're talking about?
My essay was top tier.
Wait,
And I got an award for it.
you did?
Yeah.
What did they give you?
A medal. And a Dare backpack.
Oh my god. You were the coolest kid in school.
And it was one of those string backpacks too.
Oh my god. You don't understand how cool that is.
That was so monotone.
We'll go with a little bit of energy here on this one then. I love your Dare backpack. Can I steal it?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna kill you.
Oh my god, we're in 5th grade.
Doesn't mean we can't pack Starburst gummies.
Pack?
Yeah, pack Starburst gummies. Every time you eat one of those, they're so sour that you have to go home from school. Happens to me every week.
Oh my god.
What if there was that kid that just couldn't have sour stuff, so they would have to go home. They're like, it was too sour, nurse. I have to go home. You're fine, honey. Eat saltines and drink some water. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. My mom said it. I have to go home. There's more sour Skittles there.
Somebody walks into the nurse's office. I think I broke my leg. Have some saltines, honey. You'll be okay.
Here's a little bit of water, too. It's distilled.
Go ahead and lay down. You'll be okay in about 30 minutes. Leg is falling off at that point.
And then you're like, oh my god, it smells so good in here, says the nurse.
Oh my god, you just need some more saltines. You're not eating enough here.
Let me put some saltine on your wounds.
I swear that's the only thing those nurses do, though. They're
What if
like,
they do? What they do is they put the saltines on the wound, they wrap it with duct tape, and they're like, you're all better, honey. Now here's some saltines for your mouth. This has been a production today. We learned about deer stalkers. Don't be one of them. Not a good idea. We learned about kids skipping school because sour gummies, and we're upset because people don't know how to handle chaos and communicate. Okay, we're not that upset, but you should stand up. You should do what you need to do. Follow us on the social medias, and
you said you should stand up, so I stood up.
okay, you had me a bit confused there because I thought you were about to like reveal like the new thing that you have coming out. She's starring on a Disney movie next March. What if that was that would actually be crazy. What movie do you think you'd be on?
For a Disney movie? I don't know. What is Disney making nowadays?
That doesn't matter. Would you play the main character, side character?
Absolutely, main character.
Oh. Okay. What would you want the movie to be about?
Wizards.
Okay. Wizards. Does this have anything to do with your childhood? Maybe watching a show that had such
Did you
thing?
hear that they're getting a reboot?
Yeah, but it's going to fail like most of them do. That's the most pessimistic. Let me give you the optimistic approach. Oh my god, I can't believe it's coming on. I'm going to watch every single episode 24 hours.
I knew it.
That was it, but the pessimist one was there, but that one overshot it. It's like, that's what he's going to do. He's going to religiously watch these shows blindfolded. He's just going to hear it first. And then we're going to take out the blindfold, and then his face is going to go from to... Yeah. I'm
Crackhead
excited.
behavior.
But that's the excitement that happens. But yeah, it was a nice little talk today. We're now at the limit. Not really. We can go however long we want. Our phones won't allow us to go longer. But yeah, it was nice chatting today.
Yeah, it was nice chatting, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Please don't steal my wallet. What's in your wallet? All right.
What's in your wallet?
Check us out on the medias. Make sure that you're giving handshakes to your family, friends, co-workers, strangers. But be careful with strangers. If
And
you're underage,
avocados.
don't do it. Please find your nearest avocado, start eating it, skin, everything, and Merry Christmas.
We'll see you guys next time.
Yes.
Bye.
Oh.
Oh my god, you're getting water on the
No
floor.
water!
Can you do this?